It is tax time again. Yes, I think I hear a few groans out there. Many people are dreading the thought of putting their paperwork in order, but also looking forward to getting back some money maybe. The IRS will start accepting individual returns at the end of this month, and we're going to help you out. Joining us this morning is Kelli Grant, senior consumer reporter for smartmoney.com. Good morning, Kelli. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So a little bit of a delay this year for some people. Because of the fiscal cliff, of course.
Yep, of course, it's good news if you're one of those people who tends to take a while on their returns. Maybe you're not quite ready to file yet. Bad news if you were somebody who's hoping to file pretty quickly and get your refund.
All right, so let's work on your tips to make it a little bit easier if you're one of those people that has to get a lot of paperwork together.
Well, the first thing you want to think about is really finding your right time to file. If you are filing on January 30th, or if you're able to, this is somebody who's got kind of a simple return, which the IRS says is the bulk of taxpayers. But if you have somebody who's kind of a more complicated return, you're taking particular deductions, you have a home office, kind of like me, you might have to wait until mid-February, maybe even March to really have all of the paperwork in hand. So keep that in mind when you're making your appointment with your tax preparer.
Okay, and what about the 1099s? You should wait for the revised 1099s?
Yes, if you have investments, you'll be getting that 1099 from your brokerage. You want to wait until you get all of the revisions on that, because if you file too quickly, this is something where the experts tell us it's kind of a prime reason that you might get audited if your numbers don't match up with those that the brokerage eventually files to the IRS. So you want to ideally wait for that, but worst case scenario, you can file your taxes and then just file some sort of a short revision after the fact when you have that final form that you're waiting for.
Okay, and a lot of people may not have investments, but they certainly will have deductibles. Keeping track of all of that is not so easy.
Yes, this is the thing that, when you talk about how long it takes you to pull together your tax return, this is, I think, really the most time-consuming part, definitely for me, for a lot of people, finding all of those expenses that you made over the course of the year, because, maybe you don't have it all in a shoebox or you're sorting through credit card statements. Now is the great time to do that before you can file, just to know that at least once you're finally getting ready to do the paperwork, you have a tally for everything.
And if you don't have all the receipts, all is not lost, you can check your credit card bills. That can help.
Exactly. You can check your credit card bills, go back through, you'll be surprised at what you can still find.
Right. And lastly, note cost basis. Now I had to read this because I wasn't sure, because I obviously don't have investments, but for people who do, this is important.
It's a complicated one. If you've sold any investments in the past year, you need to know really the price of that investment at the time that you bought it, or if you inherited it or it was given as a gift, you need to track back a little bit for other specific dates in there. And all of that determines the amount of tax that you're going to pay on that investment. So it's an important figure to make sure that you have it and that you have it right. Otherwise, you could end up with a bigger bill than you thought you would.
Should people be scared around tax time?
I don't think so. I think it's something that, everyone gets a little bit nervous, but I think if you start the planning early enough, then that way, whatever you find out, it's not going to be a huge surprise. The stress really comes in when you're trying to do this at the 11th hour, and then suddenly you realize that you owe a lot of money and you owe it tomorrow, not next month.
All right. Thank you very much for all your great advice. Kelli Grant, senior consumer reporter for smartmoney.com.